Hackard outside the village warned me.
Traitor! I ordered him to stay put. I'll throw him in irons.
He's dead.
What? That scorched out, filthy, rotten dirtwad of a brother. Why didn't he listen? Why?
He was worried you and the entire town would be killed. Do you have any idea what could be drawing the Glinthawks? Why do you think the Carja have anything to do with the Glinthawks?
We built this outpost to protect against the Carja. Now they're coming here to trade. Fine. Their shards are as good as anyone's. But everyone knows that they want this place. Come to think of it, they want every place.
But how could the Carja have brought on the Glinthawks?
If I ever get a break from them, I'll see if I can spare a man to follow the trail. Guaranteed, there's a Carja at the other end.
Some people may look at this and think that it just made the tag team match.
What exactly do you do here?
I'm the mayor. Mostly because I was too drunk to say no, and my brother asked me.
I actually think it makes it very clear that Rock and Roman are going to win. Because I just cannot envision
these Glinthawks to
as I think
flock
about
off.
what Roman Reigns
You'll
and
find
Cody
him due
Rhodes will
south
look
of
like
here,
on night 2
along
of
the river.
WrestleMania.
Damn
Cannot
that
envision a
fool.
match
That
that does
bum.
not have
That lunkhead.
bloodline interference and shenanigans. I cannot envision them doing that main event and not doing a repeat
Has anyone come trying
solo
to sell
Sikoa
lures?
getting involved with
They're
Samoa
devices
Spike.
that attract machines.
Having that close
Is
air
that
ball
real?
playoff drama
Is that some
last
sort
year's
of
event.
Nora
It's
joke?
such a missed
I'll take that as a
opportunity.
no.
I think the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania.
Why do you think
is
the
gonna be
Carja have anything to do with the Glinthawks?
You're gonna have
We built
everybody
this
get
outpost to
involved.
protect
I wouldn't
against
be
the
shocked
Carja.
if Stone
If
Cold shows up and he gives Rock a stunner and he bounces his
Why
way
don't
out.
I investigate why the
anything can
Glinthawks
happen.
are You've got your hands full.
Really? No one ever offers to help me.
Just go all the way with it and
You,
make it
any
one
good at
big
tracking?
complete clusterfuck.
You can say that.
It changes the
Let me
outcome
know what you
of
find.
Roman and Coast.
Hammer to steel.
But The Rock did
Carja's
something
behind
else
all
there.
this.
That was very important and is going to play a very important role in this story. The Rock did something that he has yet to do up until tonight. He acknowledged Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. And this was after Roman Reigns made it very clear, just by the expression on his face, that he was not happy that The Rock was out there to steal his spotlight and, as he always does, suck up all the oxygen in the room, because that's what he does. Right? The Rock is a gigantic star. He's got more charisma than probably anybody in the history of this company. It's hard for him not to command the room when he walks out. We talked about Roman Reigns coming across his little brother
I'd shake
really
your
ever
hand.
since Vegas.
Been at the forge.
And it's been the case every single time they've made an appearance on television. Tonight was no different. But tonight, they acknowledged Roman Reigns. That's going to be a pivotal moment right there. There are two stories playing out here. Cody is going to go to WrestleMania to try to finish this story.
Turn
There's
off!
another story
Turn
that is
off!
unfolding right now. With Rock and Roman Reigns that is going to play itself out whether
what are
it's
you
a
doing?
review later this
By
year,
the sun,
whether they hold
it
off
won't
until
turn
WrestleMania
off.
41,
That
they
device
break
is
that
making the
law,
Glinthawks attack.
but it's gonna
Turn it
happen.
off.
Me? I don't know how to turn it off any more than I know how I turned it on. I scrounged it from an old workshop.
When things blow up between Rock and Roman to get Cody Rhodes. This is a very important, very noteworthy edition of SmackDown tonight. Not only because of all the
Well,
Rock
that
stuff,
should
but
do
we
it.
also had Dakota Kai.
Now start talking.
Stop me if you're shocked by this news, but Dakota Kai was not
You
being
mentioned you found the
completely
device
honest
in a
and truthful
workshop?
with Bayley when she said
Yes.
she would have her
I
back.
camped out atop
And
the
in fact,
snowy eastern
Dakota Kai
ridge.
is still
No easy
with
climb,
damage
even in my
control.
best
Bayley is
years.
all by herself.
But
She has no
I
one.
girded
The only friend in
my
the world that Bayley has
Enough.
is about to
Were
take
there
her
any
debut
other
in
devices
Boston
at this
in a few
workshop?
weeks. And SmackDown
abandoned
8 coming to
equipment,
Boston
the
in
likes
2
of which
weeks.
I've never seen.
So
A
Bayley's gonna have to
peculiar
find some other
silo
people.
remained
I've got 2
impervious
people in
to my
mind.
attempts to open it.
I've got 2
As I
people in mind. In
searched,
fact, it's an
I
idea that I
wondered
pitched a
how
few
many
weeks ago right here on the show.
secrets lie hidden in this world.
The other thing tonight,
As
Rey
we,
Mysterio is back. He's
in
been
our
missing for many
ignorance,
months.
go about
Kind of
our
wondering when he
daily...
would show up
Your
again.
point?
Tonight, he was back
Oh,
to set
no,
things in
I
motion
didn't
for
see
the
another
inevitable
device.
showdown, I'm sure,
but
between he
one
and
could
Santos
still
Escobar
be there,
at WrestleMania
waiting
this year, which
to
is a match
unleash
I'm
its
very much looking forward to.
horrors.
I thought this was a very newsworthy, very enjoyable
Why are you scrounging
episode of
gear you don't even
SmackDown. You know, it's
understand?
hard to pull off
My customers demand
40
extraordinary
minutes
pieces best found
of
at the
talk,
fringes of
or actually
civilization.
25 minutes
My
of talk
tales of
15 minutes
adventure
entrances.
only increase their
But it's hard to
value.
pull something like that off
Where
on
others only dare
a
tread,
wrestling show. You
I
have no wrestling
flourish. No
in those
mountain
first 40
climbs
minutes.
too high
But I thought
that
they
I
managed
can't
to do
mount
it in
it.
spite
My trade
of
demands
Fox, which we'll
sacrifice.
talk about.
Including the sacrifice of innocence?
Can we get
Those
this show
Glinthawks
off
swooped
of
down and
Fox
attacked
early?
everyone.
Do we really have to wait
I
until
didn't mean for that
October
to happen.
to get
I
SmackDown on
sought
USA?
only to
Maybe they
sate
could
the
work something
appetites
out
of
where they
rich
get them on
nobles who
Fox a little bit early.
never leave their mansions.
I am sick to death of watching this show on
Did
Fox.
you know this
Tonight
whole
was just
time
the
that
final
that
nail
device
in the
was
coffin.
luring Glinthawks?
By the sun, no.
Holy shit, with that
I
opening
stashed
segment.
it here for a while, but when I came back, I was
Outside of
nearly
that, though, I
beheaded
thought
by
tonight
one
was
of
a very
those
strong
flying
show. That was
terrors.
the strongest open so far to an episode of SmackDown.
Did you know this whole time that device was
This is
luring
your SmackDown
Glinthawks?
review for
By
March
the
1st,
sun, no.
2024.
I
Hey, it's a new
stashed
month,
it here for a
everybody.
while, but
We're kicking things off here for the month of March.
Did you
I
know
also
this
want
was
to give a
man.
plug for something very cool that
This
went up
device is
earlier
dangerous.
today. And I know some
I
of
have
you
to find
are,
that workshop and make sure
familiar
it's the
with
last.
Greg. Good
Where
Mike
is it?
Ward. Check out
on the
Good Mike
eastern
Ward
ridge,
commentaries on
just
YouTube.
beyond my
He and I,
campsite. But after I
collaborated on
descended
something
from the
very fun.
workshop, a
He's
cracking above
doing an
me
entire
signaled
WrestleMania themed
my
month
doom.
of content on
I
his
dove
channel,
into the
and
river mere
he's a Bret
moments
Hart
before an
fan. I'm a
avalanche
Bret
took out
Hart
the
fan. We
path.
both made no
You
bones
can't
about
reach
that.
it now.
He came up with a fun idea where we got together
Perilous.
and we each
Oh,
put
take
together
my chances.
our own list.
You just
ranking
stay away
the
from that
best Bret
workshop
Hart
and
matches
try
of
not to cause another
WrestleMania.
mess.
We were very curious to see how similar our lists would be. Some surprises and some things that weren't so surprising. So that is up on his channel right now. Just go to Good Mike Word Commentaries. The video went up earlier today. It's about an hour long. I want to thank Greg for inviting me on. It's very cool. I enjoyed it.
That car
And,
just said the
go ahead and
workshop
check
was
that
near
out.
his campsite on
I
the
got a lot of
eastern
positive
ridge.
feedback so far from people who seem to enjoy it, so I'm glad. I'm glad that you have all enjoyed it. Now, before we even get into the events of SmackDown tonight, I do want to talk about this Rock promo. And you saw a little portion of it before, and what Rock thought about Cody's story. But he posted a 21-minute video on his social media channels. Like I said, just absolutely destroying Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And, you know, he repeated himself several times in doing so. I think if you cut those parts out, he could have shaved it down from 21 minutes to probably 14. There were several times where he said the same thing over and over again, but outside of those parts, this was incredible. And so the gist of it, I'm not going to go through the entire thing. We'll save that for the podcast. It'll take me far too long to go through the entire thing. But the way that he explained it, this is what was so key about what he posted. This had to be done. 21 minutes. Now I know it sounds silly because they gave us about 40 tonight on the show. We would not have had time to get into the weeds on how it would be able to recap the entire story. Why this happened, why that happened. And with the context here, people who can follow the story. So, if the Rock tried to cut this off, I knew I would experience but he talked about how you know, should I sit in the car? Should I sit in the car? And everybody lost it. He said in the years ago,
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Brad runs his own landscaping business.
Yeah, with my 2 brothers.
They take their business very seriously.
Sure do.
Brad traded up to commercial auto insurance from Geico for serious customized coverage that grows as his business does, all for seriously low rates.
Alright, so what's gonna happen?
Nice.
You know, the big Geico surprise.
I'm sorry.
Some hair metal band. They gotta jump out of those bushes.
No, this is a serious Geico ad.
That pyro was pretty cool, though.
Get more with Geico Commercial Insurance. Trade up today at geico.com/commercial.
And after that, Rock said that he had a conversation with Cody Rhodes to explain to him that we have bigger plans. Myself and Roman Reigns, this is about family, this is about putting on the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time. This once-in-a-lifetime match. He explained this to Cody, and he said that Cody agreed that even though he had won the Royal Rumble, even though he wanted to get a rematch with Roman Reigns, he knew it would sting. He said, and I know it's going to sting that you're not getting your rematch this year, but Cody, you can finish your story anytime you want. Right now, this is the only opportunity to do rock and roll. Right? The biggest match of WrestleMania is here, and this is what would be best for the fans. That's how it's played. He said that Cody agreed that this is what would be best for the fans. And he said everything went according to plan. Cody introduced them that night to play. He introduced one SmackDown on the bill. Rock was put something in his ear about again, just for business. And he made a comment about it. And he got wild in terms of Rock at the school on his face. He said he had to work on his face so he had to move the ass. But he did what he was supposed to do. And then they got Rock. And he said that because Vegas. Cody was so Cody waited until it had already gone out there. They had announced that Roman said Rock with families the entire bloodline they showed up. And Cody said, I'm to say this is bullshit. And I'm choosing Roman Reigns the rest of WrestleMania and see Cody with that. And Cody had very aspects of the Raptors family, all other members of the bloodline, grandfather, talking shit about the Rock's family. And that's when he said, Cody Rhodes, man to man, from the bottom of my heart, fuck your story. Which I thought was the line of the video. He told Cody to fuck his story, and he also addressed that problem. He talked about Seth, and he said that he took exception to the comments that Rollins has been making in various interviews, and he showed clips. In his video, they spliced in clips of media interviews that Seth has done, talking about Rock, we don't need you. We're selling out buildings, we're doing big business, we're going into the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Seth, we don't need you. Or Rock, we don't need you. And Rock warned Rollins that as a member now of the TKO Board of Directors, he says he can make that World Heavyweight Championship go to somebody else in a heartbeat if he wants to. That was his threat, his warning to Seth Rollins. So he did stick that in there as well, which he had to, because again, they're setting up a tag team match here, so he's got to throw some shade at Seth too. But I like and I appreciate the fact that they did finally come around to trying to explain, because they had trying to explain that scene that we saw 1 month ago. It was so ridiculous in the grand scheme of Cody's story that at least they came up with an explanation that makes something sort of plausible sense. And you can still sit there and go, well, even still, it was stupid for Cody to do that. It made him look weak. Yes, it did. But I appreciate them at least trying to explain to us logically why Cody would have stepped aside, and why Rock now is so pissed off at him that he went back on his word and he decided to challenge Roman Reigns. So that's great. It's great that we finally got the explanation. But this promo, if you didn't watch it, I saw Cody's response on Twitter. Cody's response, he posted that meme about how he saw the length of it. It was 21 minutes long. Basically said it's too long. I'm not going to read that, but what was it? Congrats, and or sorry. I forgot exactly how it was. So that was fantastic, and that then led into tonight's show, which was first SmackDown this month of March, kicking off the Elimination Chamber recap, the highlights of the event. Last weekend, we had Roman Reigns appearing on his third straight episode of SmackDown. When was the last time we had Roman on 3 straight shows? Now, there's a little asterisk next to it because last week's show was taped. So technically, his third straight SmackDown, and he's already with Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso. Now, we were 10 minutes into the show before Roman even spoke his first. Because we had the recap, we had the entrance, recap takes longer than the Undertaker against the ring. But then, he can get away with it because he's the champion and he's got that special, aura about him when he comes out.
If I find any and destroy them,
He's a big
the
star.
machine
And
should
when you're a
leave.
big star, you get away with having long, drawn-out entrance. So, 10 minutes into the show, probably Roman speaks. He tells Glendale, Arizona to acknowledge him. And he was not happy with the response. He got Cody James. He said he was going to try to work on it. And then he was going to leave. If he didn't like the response that he got from this crowd. Because he's already, he's been trapped. And so he said, again, that's it. Honestly. Paul Heyman did great. He says they have other business. He goes, he's coming out. He said the people's champ, greatest and he goes, after this they have called it back. He doesn't get too deep. Roman Reigns, though, I'm sure you're having to look on his face. He was born. He gave it a word to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns could not find his entirety. I'm not sure we're even good things for us this is about 5 weeks left to go. So each time Brock was might as well be away from the Brock. So if you think the shirt is hideous, so the crowd moved. That box kept clapping and screaming blackouts again. You can hear the audio, the logos, the boxes, they call them, are on the screen. And the SmackDown logo, SmackDown Nation, is on the screen. But it was blackout. First of many times that they did this was very, and PW Insider said, the reason that they were doing that was a monster. The reason they were doing that was because apparently there was one fan in the crowd, and I guess it must have been on our camera side because it was one fan that had a dying Rocky arm. So in the crowd. That's there have been lots of shows on Fox over the years. There's still a lot of shows on Fox that had fared far worse after the 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour. Far worse than that. Don Rocker died. Eugene, some of the shit after this network. So that was fucking lame, and it certainly wasn't something worth blacking out multiple parts of the segment. It was stupid. I can understand muting certain sounds and first word things in the FCC. This I don't understand. So that was incredible. Rock said apparently Glendale is 10 miles away from Phoenix. And he asked the credit about people cheer. He said, well, that makes sense. Because I told you this. And he said the #1 city in America for cocaine and meth use is Arizona. And here's what that means. Finally, your life has meaning. Because finally, you have been loving crackheads. Finally have something to prove into your life. You know what? The one thing I There's another big fact. That's the fact that Cody will be the main event. But the fact that we got Io Rock. Because I can't imagine Io Rock playing. So now we're getting Io Rock. Io Rock is a hell of a lot more entertaining than the babyface Andrew Rock that we had in those appearances we came back in September and then in Canada. This Rock operated he said, dare I say, it is electric. He goes, Birmingham, Alabama, Salt Lake City, Utah, sold out. Tonight it is cracked in with popcorn. We are sold out. Next week in Dallas, sell out. 2 weeks from now in Memphis, Tennessee, sell out. Wrestling is cool again because of The Rock, because of Roman Reigns, and because of the Bloodline. But you know who's not cool is your hero, Cody Rhodes. Cody, you think you're tough, you want to challenge The Rock. Here's The Rock's answer, dear chum. No. He said, you think you're going to go one-on-one with the Great One because you want to? He said, the world wants to go one-on-one with The Rock, just like every woman in this arena. He told all the crackhead Karens and the meth-head Marys in the crowd to calm down because they were not ready for his 22 inches of head. And then he clarified that he was not talking about his holy Moses. He said he was referring to the 22 inches hanging from his shoulders. He called Cody an idiot. That he's already got him as the most dominant champion in history. They saw his challenge, they laughed about it. The Rock is a businessman, so he has a counter offer for Cody. He says, Cody, you and your best friend, that walking clown show, Jeff Rollins, which actually is a better nickname for him, the way he comes out and dances and dresses. Freakin' is his name, walking clown show, I actually like that. He said, you and your best friend over there, on night one, of WrestleMania, the biggest tag team match in the history of WWE, the biggest tag team match in the history of professional wrestling. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns and Brock. And I think there's a lot of things that the press conference. And if you remember, Triple H came out at that Rock Fix. And one of the things that was first thing that Triple H talked about, he was talking about the history of having true wrestling. He specifically mentioned the name of the first wrestling. The name of the first wrestling was a tag team. Hulk Hogan and Mr. T and Roddy Piper. That was not by accident that he singled out mentioning that first tag team at that very first WrestleMania. And now they're going to try to top it with the biggest tag team match in WrestleMania, which honestly, if you think about it, it would be. Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth on night one will be the biggest tag team match ever in the history of wrestling. I don't see how anybody can even win. Might not be the best match, but it would be the biggest that they've ever done. So you said that's the match, but it's not just going to be any regular match. We're going to give you a shot. If you two jabronis beat The Rock and Roman Reigns on night one, then Cody, your championship match on night two will be free of the blood.
It's not getting any warmer out here.
He said that includes Rock himself, Solo, Jimmy, both. And that Cody has a shot to finish his story one-on-one against Roman Reigns. But, and there's always a but, he said that when Rock and Roman Reigns beat you two candy asses on night one, then on night two, Cody, in your title match, it is bloodline rules, which means anything goes. He said The Rock might pull up a chair and sit next to Pat McAfee and do some commentary. He said maybe Solo wants to sing the national anthem. And evidently the fans in Glendale, Arizona would very much like to see Solo Sikoa sing the national anthem because we got loud chants of Solo, and I don't think they were chanting me. Loud Solo chants that Rock had to stop, and then they zoomed in on Solo, who of course was stone-faced. He just doesn't sell it.
Done. No more
He
lures.
doesn't sell it.
Now about this
Rock
workshop.
says maybe he'll take that chair that he's sitting in and he'll bash Cody's brains in. It would all be legal, because there are no rules. So that gives them a lot to think about. He challenged them to meet him and Roman next week in Dallas to give them their answer. I think Cody and Seth were, I know Cody was, at the building tonight. I think Seth was supposed to be there too. I figured it was probably going to be, some dark match. I'm sure Cody was in the dark match tonight. They'll be on the show next week to answer the challenge. He said if they don't accept their challenge, then the world knows that The Rock will do everything in his power as a member of the board. Again, he mentions the fact he's on the TKO board of directors. He will do everything in his power to make sure that Cody does not win that. He says he sits on the board, he owns it all, which means The Rock is your boss. This was the next interesting part. He said The Rock is your boss. There is not a man back there that can do anything about it. No vice president that will do anything about it. There is no general manager that will do anything about it. And that got Triple H chance from the crowd. Rock had to stop. So acknowledge it, let them change it. Bring up Triple H, and acknowledge it perfectly. They stopped it. That really is the only sort of hanging loose thread. Triple H came out on SmackDown recently, without and The Rock has yet to respond. I have to think it's something. There's some kind of face-to-face confrontation. There was no Triple H appearance on the show. He said in and Roman Reigns in your story. Tragic. So, who do you think you are? Meet us next week in Dallas, Texas. didn't give us hours. And he went to go do his party line. He did the fist smell. Put his hand out. Rocked. Excuse me. Into the mic. Back up to the face. And then he put his hand out to ask for another microphone. Hey. Roman said, I'll do anything for my family. And I'm proud of this voice because we can't go one segment in this company without these fucking imbeciles chanting what. So of course they started the what chant. Thankfully it didn't last too long. But he said, I'll do anything for my family. But I need this one thing. And I knew what was coming. And he milked it, and finally he said, acknowledge. And then they muted the audio. We got more audio muting here. I was afraid they were going to mute the Rock when he first started speaking, because there were a couple of points during this segment where Rock cracked a joke where he said something and we couldn't fucking hear. But Rock took his shades off. And he looked at Roman. Roman was staring back at him, and man, Roman has... Maybe it's the gray that he has allowed to just kind of come through in the beard. I don't know, Roman looks like he has aged
The scrapes.
a lot since this run began. But you know what? He's got like 2 sets of identical twins, I think. So I guess that'll probably do it. You got 2 sets of twins. I think he's got like 5 kids. Yeah, I think that'll probably age you, I would imagine. Rock took his shades off, just staring at each other. Rock finally spoke up. He said, Roman Reigns, my family, I acknowledge you as my tribal. Roman was very pleased. Rock put his hand out. Roman accepted. And then and Rock got chance of you sold out from the crowd. And then he explained that this is family and we will do anything for family. Now go home and smoke some more crack.
Oh, come on!
Because they're like, yeah. Because they're probably going to do that. They're probably going to go home and smoke some crack.
Steven is an owner-operator truck driver. Hey, folks. Steven traded up to Geico for serious commercial insurance. Both his truck and cargo, all for a seriously great rate.
Ooh, I got one.
You got one what?
Good pun.
This isn't one of those ads.
There's something wrong with that forklift. But it's a giant fork. You can't lift. Right?
We take commercial insurance very seriously here, Steven.
I'm only semi-serious. Huh? You get it?
Yeah, I see what you did there. Get more with Geico Commercial Insurance. Trade up today at geico.com/commercial. This is Robert. Hey there. Robert is an over-the-road trucker. He takes his business very seriously. Yes, I do. Robert traded up to Geico for serious commercial coverage, insuring not just his truck, but his cargo too. All for seriously low rates, with serious savings for his inspection history. So, maybe you're talking No, this is a serious Geico ad.
And then we got the proper side. Smell. They all put their fingers up and down. Last time. Back to the actual regular hand gesture. It was quick. Get that elephant, get that knot. It reminded me of the tribal court segment they did last year at Madison Square Garden. That one went long. That segment went about 35 minutes. And they had to cut things from the show. It was a very long talking segment. But it was one of the best SmackDown segments. It was all you. It was compelling. I thought it was great. I loved that tribal court segment. I was glued to it from start to finish. This segment reminded me of that. In spite of Fox's attempts to sabotage this segment, I thought that this segment was compelling. It held my interest from beginning to end, and I know some people already I saw before disagree with that. They were bored by it. It's a matter of taste. It would be very, very easy to have a 40-minute segment to open your wrestling show, people doing nothing but posing and talking and pausing for crowd reactions. You're not getting any kind of actual physicality whatsoever, and you're fucking bored by it. But they pulled it off. I was never bored. I was paying very close attention to what they were saying. There were some important things that happened in this segment, even just in terms of Roman's reaction to certain things, Rock's reaction to Roman, him acknowledging Roman.
So
That's
Duvall
huge.
was behind these
First time
wars.
that he's done that so.
Brilliant.
And you know,
And dangerous. Now to bring word back to
that's going
Pitchcliff.
to play into the story longer term. So that was important. That was key. And we got that on the show too. So yes, even though Fox nearly made this segment unwatchable with all the censoring, this segment was fantastic. I thought they hit a home run here. The Rock promos earlier on social media filled in the gaps that we needed for what happened last month. This segment took the story from where it was, and it progressed it to the next chapter, which is setting up the tag team match for night 1 of WrestleMania. So now we know. Now we don't have to speculate anymore. It's going to be a singles match with Rock and Cody. Are they going to add Rock on night 2 and make it a triple threat? Are they going to do Seth and Rock? What are they going to do on night 1? When Vegas was over, it was very clear that it was going to be a tag team. Otherwise, there would be no point in involving Seth Rollins.
You'll be happy to know I found another one of those lures and destroyed it. Should be the
I
last
just
you'll hear
want
of
you
it.
to know that I'm here.
By fire and spit, you went above and beyond. How do you know there won't be any more?
The workshop where I found it was long
So
abandoned.
now we know the main
You're
event
safe.
of night 1 of
Good.
WrestleMania.
My troops want to spit and shake your
That's
hand,
all I can ask
as
for.
my
In fact,
brother
we got
would
the
have.
explanation.
On
Now we have
behalf
the
of
match set up.
Pitchcliff and my
I
family,
personally think
I thank
it's,
you.
if anything, a little more predictable, not less predictable, how things are going to go down on night 1. Because again, I just cannot imagine that they're going to give the night 2 main event without having some interference from it. You almost have to have it. You almost have to have it for the drama. How do you not do that Roman and Cody match on night 2 and not play off that finish with Solo Sikoa? So night 2 is just got to be one just big giant mess of a match there. And you can have all sorts of bloodline interference, and you'll have other people coming in to get involved. You may have Seth Rollins coming out to try to help Cody Rhodes. And other people who have been wronged by the bloodline. Sami Zayn may come out. Kevin Owens may come out, right? Even though they have their own things going on right now. And you can have Cody Rhodes have to overcome all these different obstacles, which is what this whole fucking year has been about. Right? You've got to overcome more adversity, right? Well, how much more adversity do you want? You got to overcome. Like, it's now or never. Cody has to win the title of WrestleMania. I mean, he cannot afford to lose 2 straight years. You don't realize how damaging that would be. And yes, he can then, 6 months from now, win the title and finish the story, but you are doing tremendous damage to this man. If he goes in there and gets screwed over again at WrestleMania, and forget Cody for a second, forget that it's Cody, it could be anybody in that position. There's a story there to be told. You went off the air at WrestleMania last year, and people who wanted to see that title change hands, they just desperately wanted Roman to finally lose that title. Or maybe they just liked Cody. They were left disappointed when that show was over. They've now waited almost an entire calendar year. You cannot repeat the same finish here 2 years just to add some new faces to the bloodline. Keep the story going. That story is going to continue. There will be new bloodline members. I do believe there will be at least one new bloodline member, if not more. The bloodline is going to end up being to WWE what the NWO was to WCW, and what the Bullet Club really is. Right? We had various
what's down here.
incarnations of the Bullet Club over the years. The Bullet Club is still a thing. The NWO, that's a different story. We had many incarnations of that, and a lot of it sucked because it overstayed its welcome and it got watered down. That's the thing that WWE has to try to protect against. But if they wanted to,
This
there are
isn't
other
a cave.
family members they can
It's a
bring in,
ruin.
whether it's Jacob Batu, you want to throw Tama Tonga in there, even though he's not part of the family. They consider him part of the family, so he may well end up in there. And you can keep this bloodline train going for at least
Bloodline.
another year.
I'm not
Roman
getting in.
does not need the championship. Everything is building to a title change on night 2 of WrestleMania. And I just think it would be unbelievably damaging if there is any other result on
A
night 2.
holographic interface.
But I'm
These
excited
devices
now
are
going
missing
in.
power
They have
cells.
me all hyped
I'll
up
have to
see
find
where
power
this is gonna
cells to
go
get
next.
these to
I thought
work.
the segment accomplished what it needed to accomplish. And I'm digging heel.
There. It fits. I just need to slot in
My
this
thing's
too.
back on track now. I'm digging heel
Some
rock.
kind of
It may
code.
only be for
The
5
old
weeks.
ones use numbers
I
like
don't know
this
the
to
rock is going
indicate
to be
time.
healing it up beyond WrestleMania. So if you're enjoying it, enjoy it while it lasts. I don't see this being the long-term direction for his
Maybe there's
character.
some more information
You're back on
nearby.
solid.
Something that will tell me how this
Yes.
works. Looks like each dial has 4 positions.
Now in the back, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, they were watching video on Waller's
Maybe if
phone.
I get each dial in the
Paul
right
knocking
position.
out Randy Orton with the brass knuckles in the Elimination Chamber. This was after LA Knight, he briefly showed up with a chair, asking them if they had seen AJ Styles, and they said no. And so Knight left. But as they're watching this video on Waller's phone, they don't realize that Randy Orton had showed up behind him. And he thought it was so hilarious that they were making fun of him and enjoying, having a good laugh in suspense. And Orton was even really handing it up to him. He was laughing and acting all goofy. He said, you know what would be great if one of you got in the ring with me later tonight on the show. And Waller said, well, I forgot what his excuse was, but he had some kind of excuse. And he volunteered Austin Theory to step in the ring with Randy Orton. And Orton said, great, and he'll see you later on. And Theory was not happy about what happened here. That's the second time now he said that. Waller left him to the Wolves. Cody instead of the elimination. We got Naomi one-on-one with Tiffany Stratton. Shout out to everybody here joining me on a Friday night. Good to have you here kicking off the month of March. If you are just coming in, do hit that thumbs up button if you have not already done so. Naomi one-on-one with Tiffany Stratton. You got Tiffy time chance for Stratton. Stratton got a lot of positive reaction from the crowd. Her Chamber, even though she's a heel. And so her positive reaction from the crowd continued here. Not that she isn't getting boos, but there's a substantial portion of the audience that actually likes her and is cheering for her. And tonight was no different. So they traded some gymnastic spots before Naomi took control. She did a face buster for a 2 count. Stratton rolled outside. After a break, Stratton hit a double stomp for a 2. Both women exchanged strikes until Stratton hit a spine buster, and then she raked Naomi's eyes as the referee looked the other way. Stratton landed the prettiest moonsault ever, and she picked up the win. We got a good match here between these two. You know, after a couple of rough-looking moonsaults that she did, including that one on Vega, Zelina Vega a few weeks ago. This one tonight landed perfect. And again, I've said I think she's got the best moonsault right now in record. Just like it's her form and everything, it's probably that gymnastics background. But she was landing it a little like, wow, okay. Like you're gonna crush someone one of these days. But tonight looked pitch perfect. The crowds are getting behind her. You know, again, she hasn't been called up for very long. How long has she been up for? Maybe a month? Right, maybe not even 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. And the fact that the crowds were already behind her as much as they are, I think says a lot about her long-term value on the main roster. She's only just been called up now. You know, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, where do you think this woman is going to be? She's going to be defending or challenging for a title at WrestleMania. That's where she's going to be. In fact, I think that could happen as soon as next year at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I don't
man.
think we're going to have to wait until 42. I think by 41, Stratton will probably be wrestling for a title in one of these two women. Not only, on the other side of the coin, not only did they not televise Naomi's entrance, she got the jobber entrance here on the show, which admittedly could have been because the show was, I'm sure, you know, running went long because of the Rock segment, so some things might have had to be cut. But she got the jobber entrance. This is coming off her being the first one eliminated in Perth in the women's chamber match by the woman who then turned around and beat her to that on SmackDown. So not a great start for Naomi
Did it.
back here on
Now check the door.
Friday. Then we have Bayley and Dakota Kai teaming up to take on the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. This was
Those
non-title.
clamps have the
They had
armor locked
Io
in
Sky.
place. Maybe there's a way to power up the mechanism.
This was Dakota's
Release
first
the
match
clamps.
since May. Her return match here from her torn ACL. And I said last week, the telltale sign is going to be who starts the match, how much work does she put in this match? And sure enough, who started the match for their team? Bayley did.
Forget about
The first
traveling
thing
light.
Dakota did was she went outside onto the apron and she stood there. She didn't actually do much wrestling tonight on the show. Bayley went to the top early. Kairi, though, hit Bayley from behind and sent her plummeting to the mat. Bayley tried to fight back.
Just need
Asuka
to
though
install
threw
these
her
power
into
cells.
Dakota.
That should do
And
it.
that sent Dakota off the apron.
Only
She
two more.
bumped to the floor. Bayley tried to fire up. She ran Asuka and Kairi into each other. Dakota climbed back up on the apron, but when Bayley dove to make the hot tag, Dakota dropped down off the apron, and she was not there to make the tag. So color me shocked. Actually not. And I know some of you also saw this coming from 5 miles away. What have I been saying? What have I been saying now for weeks? Not even last week, like weeks. I
Hands on
don't
this
trust
flower.
this
So
woman.
strange.
I do not trust Dakota Kai. Unfortunately for Bayley, she was a little too trusting in Dakota. She was doing her best Sting impression. Sting and the Horseman. He looked like an idiot multiple times. Bayley looked like an idiot today. She was left all alone in there with Asuka and Kairi. She took them down. She went outside the ring and she attacked Dakota. But Damage Control came over. They put Bayley back inside. And Io Sky got into the ring. She hit a running knee strike to the back of Bayley's head. And Damage Control taunted her. They toyed with her. They played Damage Control's music. All 4 women, including Dakota, they stood tall. I guess the match was a no contest. I don't think they even announced an actual outcome here, but it was more of an angle than a match. I think we kind of knew that going in. Now, after the break, Damage Control was in the back. They were celebrating their big bruise, and they bumped into Jade Cargill. And then Nick Aldis came out of his office, and he went in front of Jade and said, "Jade, I need you back in my office." We had a little face-off here with Jade and Damage Control. It's almost like they read my mind. Because before this segment, but at the end of the previous one, I'm thinking, who the hell are they going to get? Like, Bayley needs backup. She needs friends. This woman has no friends. The one friend that this woman has is about to make her debut on the other show in Boston in 2 weeks. Otherwise, this would have been the perfect opportunity for her to come out either tonight or next week. That is obviously not going to happen. And I thought maybe Naomi would step up, but Naomi is being used in a way right now that doesn't really have me thinking she's going to have anything to do with this. So what I was thinking before this segment aired here backstage, I'm thinking, okay, who are 2 people who could step up and back up Bayley? One of them, even though she's had issues with Bayley before, is Bianca Belair. The other one is Jade Cargill. And what was the idea that I pitched weeks ago on the show? Because now I think there's actually a pretty decent chance we may end up getting this at WrestleMania. Bianca and Jade against the Kabuki Warriors at WrestleMania for the women's tag team titles. Because Tiffany Stratton would be a fine opponent for Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, and I think they would have a very good match. And there's been talk about maybe Jade and Nia, maybe Nia Jackson Jade, which would either be very bad or could be a match that ends up being a lot better than people, I think, would expect it to be going in. I think this is the better play here. I think the idea of Bianca and Jade as partners being brought together by their mutual, dislike of Damage Control and wanting to give Bayley the assist, end up coming together so they can take the women's tag team titles away from Asuka and Kairi at WrestleMania. I think that may be the play here. So there was no Bianca. We didn't see Bianca tonight, only Jade in this segment, but I would not at all be shocked if Bianca ends up being worked into this. And we get a tag team match. Because otherwise, Asuka and Kairi are the women's tag team champions. I mean, I guess, yeah, sure, they could defend against, Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. You can do some kind of multi-women tag team match for the belts at WrestleMania. This match would have more meaning. It would be more impactful. Get more star power. And also, Jade, if she's going to be doing stuff on the main roster, I don't know that her being in a tag team would be obviously the worst idea for her. I mean, that might actually work out to her advantage. Because then eventually, when their team implodes, we can get the eventual singles match between Bianca and Jade. So, it all works out. Braun Breaker was up next against the free agent Zion Quinn. That's going to be Zion Quinn's new team after this week. Now we know why this man is listed as a free agent. Nearly an entire year and has yet to be played by the Raw roster. Uh-oh. You better now. Nice Spears. Thank you for the 28 bucks. Yes, now we know why he's been a free agent for so long. Bell Rat. I'm going to give you a full recap of this match. Right? Sit your stopwatch. Here we go. Braun Breaker against Zion Quinn. The bell rang. Braun Breaker demolished him with a spear and pinned him. That was it. That was the entire match. Now, was it because the Rock segment went long? Was it because it was always designed to go this quickly? Who gives a shit? It was perfect. It was exactly what it needed to be. What you need to do with Braun Breaker is the easiest thing in the world. He's got to be the easiest guy to book. All you need to do is let him go out there and demolish people. Let him go out there and be the beast that we know that he is. He's got that explosiveness to him. Watching him go out there and spear people in half, it's fun. It's fun. That's what I want to see. I want to see him go out there and just break people in half. That'll also help get him over. Zion Quinn ain't going nowhere. Braun Breaker is on the ascent. Zion Quinn is not. So this was exactly what it needed to be, and now it would be nice if they came up with something better for him to do. Again, Sheamus, where's he at? We don't know. Braun Breaker and Sheamus, that'd be a hell of a match at WrestleMania if they don't have something better for Sheamus. I still think that Sheamus can be worked into the Intercontinental title picture. We kind of talked about that during the Raw review on Monday. And where I think it's going in the idea that I pitched, I think there's a way to work Sheamus into that. But if they don't have a match in mind for him on the main card, Braun Breaker, there he is right there. There's your winner of the 2024 Andre Memorial Battle Royal. Maybe we can finally get a Battle Royal winner that will actually make their way up the card in a meaningful way. There have been a few, right? Jey Uso, for example, he's a former Andre Battle Royal winner. It took him a while to get to the point where he is now, but he's a former Andre Battle Royal. But yes, there's your Andre Battle Royal winner. They don't have anything better for him.
Miles here is an electrician running wire in this home. Morning. Miles doesn't have time for funny business. Yes. Miles traded up to Sirius Commercial Auto Insurance from Geico for customized coverage that grows with his business, all for seriously low rates.
So, where's the Geico surprise cameo?
We come again?
Like some big, famous football player or something. He's gonna bust with that wall, isn't he?
No, this ad is serious business.
Guys, get over here! You gotta see this!
No, there's nothing funny over here. Sorry. Get more with Geico Commercial Insurance. Trade up today at geico.com/commercial. Brad runs his own landscaping business.
Yeah, with my two brothers.
They take their business very seriously.
Sure do.
Brad traded up to commercial auto insurance from Geico for serious customized coverage that grows as his business does, all for seriously low rates.
Alright, so when's it gonna happen? The big Geico surprise?
I'm sorry?
Some hair metal band. They're gonna jump out of those
That
bushes.
area back there. I wonder if I can find a
No,
way into
this is a serious Geico ad.
That pyro was pretty cool, though.
Get more with Geico Commercial Insurance. Trade up today at geico.com/commercial.
I've routed the message to your hub.
We have Carlito one-on-one with
Another power
Santos
cell.
Escobar
I
in
only
a
need
street
one more to
fight.
get to that ancient
The
armor.
LWO and Legado del Fantasma, they came out with each man as they made their entrance, and then they went to the back. So they left it one-on-one between these two. Is there a Battle Royal at WrestleMania? The Battle Royal has been on the SmackDown before Mania, which I just realized I will not be here for. We had a House of Glory show in Philadelphia that night. But what they've been doing is the Andre Battle Royal on Friday. So I would imagine that
I've routed the message to your hologrid for viewing.
Which again is why I said if they have nothing better for him to do, they really should get Braun a spot on the actual WrestleMania. And frankly, even if he wins the Battle Royal, it doesn't mean that they can't set something up for him on one of the two nights. If they don't, he's your Battle Royal winner. That's where I see that going. But we had, again, Carlito and Santos Escobar. Action spilled outside early. Crowd chanted, "We want tables." Carlito went under the ring. He pulled out a table. Escobar went to attack him. Carlito fought him off. And he went back under the ring. And he pulled out the dreaded kenders.
I saw them lining up.
And there was an absurdly loud chant.
In a slaughterhouse, but smiling at each
"We
other.
want apples."
Shauna handing out meds like.
Now, I gotta give credit to the fans in Glendale. They were into the show. I think they were naturally loud all night long.
Not me.
I'm not saying that every
I don't want to go quiet.
reaction or chant was
I don't want to
manufactured.
trail off.
But this is the moment in the show
At the end
where
of
I
my life
realized
sentence, not an ellipses.
you're definitely typing shit.
An
An
exclamation mark.
absurdly loud
Something
chant of
sense.
"We want apples."
Whoever
When's the last
finds
time
this.
the crowd chanted "We want
Too bad.
apples" during a
I don't
Carlito?
know anyone,
Is
anything.
this some sort of common thing that's been going on for a while that I miss?
Machu Picchu.
They're chanting this.
Always wanted to see
And it
that.
just so happened almost on
Never
cue.
did.
And maybe
Within 10
that's all I
seconds,
need.
he looks under the ring, and what does Carlito pull out?
Standing
An
there,
apple.
wearing
Oh!
a retro wave dress,
How convenient.
and the way he smiled.
So that was all the confirmation I
Where
needed.
are
They
you
were,
gonna
they were
see?
planting and piping in certain chants
On
here
the
during the show
face.
tonight, which again I think is stupid
What
because it
had
seems to me like the crowd was
Lost
pretty
it
up
inside
for
me,
a lot
you
of
know.
stuff on the show, and I don't understand the need to do
It's
that. Maybe
just
they're
an
trying to get
instant,
that
but I
started.
knew.
They kind of make that a thing.
I knew
Or
it
during
would
his
be
matches, people
forever.
would chant, "We want apples." I don't know. Apparently in Glendale, it's "We want apples" and crack and meth, I guess, all three. But they chanted "We want apples." So he pulled out an apple, and that would come into play a little bit later on. After a commercial break, there was a trash can open over Carlito's name. Carlito ended up outside the ring. Escobar went for a tope. Carlito cut him off with a chair shot to the head, which thankfully Escobar got his hand up just before to block it. Carlito put the trash can on Escobar's head, and he hit the can repeatedly with the chair. And then Carlito hit a reverse crossroads onto a chair, got a nice near fall out of that. Carlito pulled a table into the ring. Escobar cut him off with a knee, and the two of them went up top. Carlito crotched Escobar on the top rope. But Angel and Humberto showed up,
Save this
and they
for
beat Carlito down. Legado hit a triple team power bomb. Escobar, though, only got a 2 count out of it. I thought that was it, because Carlito hasn't exactly been winning most of his matches recently, so that kick out surprised me. Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro hit the ring. They fought Angel and Humberto until the heels took them out. But, wouldn't you know it, look who shows up. Rey Mysterio walks out, but he's on crutches. He came out on crutches, and Legado sees this, and they start laughing. And then they make their way down the aisle. They're going to go after Rey, but it turns out Rey wasn't injured anymore. And he took one of the crutches, and he worked over Angel and Humberto with it. Then he got into the ring. He and Escobar went chest to nose. Escobar went to take a shot. Rey ducked. Escobar turned around, and Carlito spit the apple into his face. And Rey followed that up after a backstabber. Then Rey followed that up with a 619. That knocked Escobar backwards into the waiting arms of Carlito, who put Escobar through the table that was set up in the ring with a spine buster, and he pinned Santos Escobar to win the match. Carlito actually won a match. I think that may have been the biggest surprise of the entire show tonight. That may have been the thing that really shocked me above and beyond anything else, that he won a fucking bad trucker. Amazing. This was your typical